Hello everyone. In our video 1 of medieval India and political transactions in India, we have covered the two Delhi sultanates like Slave and Khilji dynasty. Now next third we will deal with the Tughlaq dynasty. They have ruled between the period 1320 to 1399 CE. Tughlaq dynasty was founded by Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq maintained peace and order in Delhi by implementing liberal administration policies. He strengthened the border to prevent Mongol invasions. He built irrigation canals for the benefit of the farmers and lowered the taxes. He established the postal system consisted of horsemen and runners. He built Tughlaqabad fort near Delhi. He conquered Madurai and Warangal and maintained law and order in Gujarat and Bengal. The other important rulers of these dynasties are Muhammad bin Tughlaq and Feroz Tughlaq. First, we will see about Muhammad bin Tughlaq. He was a scholar of Persian and Arabic languages. He was an expert in mathematics, physics, medicine, Persian poetry, astronomy, and other subjects. Though he was a man of knowledge, he had few abnormalities in his personality. He was thinking ahead of his time, often centuries ahead, but his officials neither had the integrity nor had the maturity to implement his plans. First, we will see what are the reforms has been brought by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. The first it is administrative reforms. In that we will deal with revenue reforms. And officials recorded that had all the details of lands of the kingdom was implemented by him. He established Department of Agriculture. The uncultivated lands were made cultivable. Different schemes were implemented to provide financial assistance to the farmers. But the farmers of Doab had to pay higher land tax during his time. Doab means the land between the two rivers. It is called as Doab, especially between the Ganga and Yamuna river. Next it is shifting of his capital. Muhammad bin Tughlaq shifted his capital from Delhi to Devagiri in central India. There are two main reasons behind this move: to establish the capital city at the center of the vast kingdom and to protect the capital city from foreign invasions. Though the plan was good, proper precautions were not taken to implement this. As a result, innumerable common people suffered severely. Next experiment is experiment of symbolic coins. The value of the currency was made adjusted to the value of a gold and silver coins in circulation of his time. He brought gold coins named dinar and silver coins named adli into circulation. The coins were aesthetically designed. After a few years, the copper and brass coins were also brought into circulation symbolically. Then minted coins was not vested with the government alone. Families who had traditional rights to mint coins were also there. The coins were minted more than the required number without the permission of the Sultan. This resulted in the chos. Chos means a state of disorder or confusion. The state treasury became empty due to the costly administrative experiments, severe droughts, and the shifting of capital city. The process of relocating the capital back are the measures. Due to this reason, the Tughlaq experiment, the experiments with the symbolic coins and the shifting of capitals, both experiments are failures. And due to this reason, he has to face lot of financial disturbance in his kingdom. Now next we will see what is the Deccan policy adopted by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Deccan policy. Muhammad bin Tughlaq implemented his administration in all the areas conquered by him in Deccan. He had conquered Warangal, the capital of Kashtiyas. He also destroyed the Dwara Samudra, the capital city of Hoysalas. Madurai of South India was conquered and Jalaluddin Hansa was named as the governor. Muhammad bin Tughlaq was the first Delhi Sultan to establish vast kingdom in India. Muhammad bin Tughlaq organized a big army. There were 27 rebellions in South India during his last 11 years of rule. These rebellions led to the rise of Vijayanagara and Bahmani kingdom. Next we will see about the Feroz Shah. Feroz Shah Tughlaq, who ascended the throne after Muhammad bin Tughlaq, implemented numerous people-friendly programs. He waived off Tawakkali loans for the benefit of his subjects. He paid compensation to the victims of Muhammad bin Tughlaq's invasions. The private mines used to taxes, and also taxes were collected for providing irrigation facilities. Irrigation is the artificial supply of water. He abolished around 20 different taxes along with these tools. He built many cities, mosques, madrasas, dams and irrigation canals. Jaunpur, Fatehabad, Hisar, Ferozpur and Ferozabad were the few important cities built by him. Jaunpur it is in Uttar Pradesh, Hisar is in Haryana and Ferozabad is in Uttar Pradesh. Jaunpur was a famous learning center of this time. Dharmashalas were built for the benefit of travelers. This is all about the Tughlaq dynasty, especially about Muhammad bin Tughlaq and Feroz Tughlaq. Now next it is fourth dynasty, that is the Sayyid dynasty. They have ruled between the period 1414 to 1451 CE. Nizar Khan Sayyid, the governor of Multan, founded this dynasty by conquering Delhi. He established his rule in Doab and Gwalior. He also suppressed many rebellions and established law and order and maintained peace. Muhammad Shah, Alauddin and Alam Shah were the prominent rulers of this dynasty. Bahrullah Lodhi defeated Alam Shah and brought an end to the rule of Sayyid dynasty. After Sayyid dynasty, the last dynasty that had ruled over Delhi Sultanate is Lodhi dynasty between 1451 to 1526. This is the last Sultanate dynasty of Delhi. Bahrullah Lodhi, Sikandar Lodhi and Ibrahim Lodhi were the sultans of this dynasty. So Sikandar Lodhi conquered Bihar, Bengal, Dholpur and Chanderi. Dholpur is in Rajasthan and Chanderi is in Madhya Pradesh. He established peace and order in Delhi. Ibrahim Lodhi, the successor of Sikandar Lodhi, was incompetent. Afghans were invaded India by the governors Alam Khan and Daulat Khan. Thus Babar invaded India. He defeated Ibrahim Lodhi in the first battle of Panipat in 1526 CE and established the Mughal rule in India. The Lodhi dynasty came to an end after the attack of Babar in the place in Panipat in Haryana in 1526 CE, and later Mughal Empire was established in India. All the 5 dynasties. Now next we will see the contribution of Delhi Sultans. First we will deal with the administrative system. Administration is the act of managing or supervising. Most of the Delhi Sultans were dictator rulers. They were also the commanders of the army and the chief justice too. The administration was in accordance to Quran. Sardars, Amirs and Ulamas had considerable influence over the administration. The central government had the departments like defense, foreign affairs, postal, charity and endowment for the effective administration. Endowment means the money given to any institution. These departments were headed by ministers and officials. The kingdom was divided into many provinces. These administrative divisions were headed by Shizdar, Amin and Chowkidars. The collection of revenue, maintenance of law and order, providing educational facility and ensuring cleanliness were the main roles of these officials. Next it is social system. During the rule of the sultans, the Muslims and the Hindu communities had their traditional customs and faiths. The Hindu Bhakti saints and the Sufi saints of Muslim communities ushered in the social changes into the old social system. In the beginning of the Sultan's rule, only Turk Sardars were appointed to the higher administrative positions. Later on, their influence waned. During the period of Khiljis and Tughlaq, local people who had converted into Islam had more opportunities, particularly the educated of the serving communities and Hindus got higher posting. Hence, the ruling class of this time got introduced into the Indian way of dressing, beverages, food and music, and cultural aspects also. Hindus were appointed as the associate officers and clerks in the revenue departments. Slavery was in practice. War prisoners were named as slaves. There were many women slaves in the palace. The status of women was not healthy. Parda system and child marriage were in practice. Women from higher social classes participated in fine arts. The women from villages participated in agriculture and household activities. After a social system, the next system is economic situation of the sultans. brought in a major change in the areas of agriculture. The old system of tax fixation and revenue collection was changed. The mandatory payment of tax by both the rich farmers and the poor farmers was the main feature of the revenue policy adopted during the rule of sultans. The transport and communication were improved. Roads were built all across from Gujarat to Bengal. The foreign merchants visited all the small and big markets of medieval India and some settled here also. This provided a lot of inputs to craftsmen. The Indian artifacts entered the European markets. The sultans and the prominent businessmen were running factories of gold and silver ornaments and silk looms. Next it is we have to deal with literature. Literature means the writing which consists of books, novels or poems. It is called as literature. Many foreign authors and historians were under the royal patronage of Sultan. Their writings are in Persian and Arabic languages. A famous scholar named Al-Biruni was in the court of Muhammad Ghori. He was a philosopher, mathematician and also a writer. He wrote a book, Kitabul Hind, on the social, political, economic and religious aspects of India. Hasan Nizami wrote Tajul Masjid and Minhajus Siraj wrote Tabakul Nisari. Amir Khusro wrote 6 books and provided details about Hindu and Muslim culture. He is called as the Indian Parrot. Next it is art and architecture. Architecture is the art of designing the buildings. The Delhi Sultans introduced a new style of architecture known as Indo-Islamic architecture. Arcs, domes and minarets are the main features of this style. Domes means the round shaped roof. The Delhi Sultans built forts, mosques, palaces, public buildings, madrasas and dharmashalas. Qutub Minar, Quwwatul Islam Mosque, Alai Darwaza, Juwais Khana Mosque are the few examples of Indo-Islamic style. Here we have completed our chapter, the medieval India and political transactions. If you have any doubt, you can ask us in the comment section. Thank you.